Welcome, everybody, back to the Bengal Stripe Show, presented by the Love of Ball Network and brought to you by your host, me, Gavin, and your host, Braden, right over there. If you are on Spotify, go over to YouTube, subscribe, and like. It helps us out more than you know. And if you're on YouTube, go ahead and go to Spotify, follow, rate us 5 stars. It's a good time over here. Live show. Let's keep talking about it. Last episode, we brought up the idea of a live show, that what we're doing when it is. Some more plans have formed. We're joined by Tyson Anderson and Lance Robinson Jr. Tyson will be there at 7:30. The show starts at 7:30. He'll be there for a little over an hour, take pictures after. Then Lance will come in, interview him, take a little over an hour, get some pictures. It'll be a good time. There's deals on drinks. It is at Always in Play in Fort Thomas, Kentucky. July 27th, like I said, starts at 7:30. Limited seating. Get there when you get there, but you might there's standing room, but you might have to stand.
Yeah, please show up. I mean, it's going to be a good time, honestly. Even if you aren't exactly listening, there's always things to do. If you have kids or anything like that, I mean, there's always things that they can do while you listen. It's going to be a good time. You guys are really going to want to hear Lance's story, and you're also going to want to hear Tyson's story because they're both really great.
Yeah, they're awesome guys. Been fun to work with. Trying to organize all of this together made it super easy on our end, and I think we'll put together some good stuff for you. Like I said, deals on drinks. You must show a 21 and up ID if you want to purchase drinks at the bar. There are obviously sodas and waters and all that for people who aren't 21, and there's potentially some food coming. Still working out the logistics of that, but they do have chips and snacks. But yeah, we're working on getting some hot food there for you guys, and I don't know if the players listen to this. I'm gonna assume not. They'll listen to their episode, but we are gonna see if they've had Skyline before. So look forward to that. We'll maybe get a couple of the Bengals players' first time having Skyline. It's always a fun thing. And,
all right, let's do our predictions here. Do you think Lance has had Skyline?
No, I don't even think Lance has been to Cincinnati yet, other than to when he first got here for the Bengals. I think he went here.
The OTAs?
Yes. Like that was his only time here.
I think he hasn't had it yet. I think I'm gonna say Tyson had. I think Tyson's had it.
I think he has too, just because he's been here for what, three years now, and he's also from Ohio. And if I'm not mistaken, there's Skyline up in Columbus, which obviously isn't near Toledo, but it goes up further north than I thought.
Yeah, I just want to see if he likes it or not. Like I'm sure that Tyson's had it, but I really just want to see if he's had it or not.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. Everyone show up. Let us know that you're going to be there, and we'll keep doing stuff like this. I'm already in works with a couple people, just trying to get more people on, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, two great guys. We're talking about us and Lance and Tyson, but it's going to be a good time. So show up, just listen. It's gonna, like I said earlier, it's going to be two great guys with two great stories, and it's gonna give you another person who you really really want to root for on the field.
Yeah, both of them, their stories are pretty incredible. So, yep. Again, July 27th at 7:30. Be there or be square. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video here. Let's get into the potatoes. The meat will be the training camp talk. Let's kind of go over the off-season signings and how we think they'll kind of impact their team. So let's start with Vaughn.
So Vaughn for me is going to be this vocal leader who's going to bring the energy to this safety room that probably didn't have a lot last year. I mean, it was slim pickings. They were getting. I mean, they had quarterbacks who had no business throwing for 300 yards, throwing 300 yards all over them. Yeah. So they need a boost of energy in that room. They just need someone to kind of pick them up and get that kind of breath of fresh air. I think Vaughn's going to bring it.
And to kind of piggyback off that, I think Vaughn's hungry to really get into a winning situation again. I mean, as much as I respect anyone who plays in the NFL, playing in Carolina has got to be super demoralizing. Now, I'm sure the weather's nicer there, but coming to Cincinnati and a team that's ready to win, a team that's poised to win, I feel like his position to kind of be the leader of that is exciting for him. To where he was never really as much as a leader as he wanted to be in Cincinnati, shadowed under Jesse Bates or shadowed under even DJ Reader in terms of defensive hierarchy. And having that safety group really all look up to him and kind of flow through him, I think it's going to play to his strengths, and I think he's capable of it. Even when he was here with Jesse Bates, he was an extreme vocal leader. He was a guy that everyone looked toward, even with Jesse Bates. Obviously, they looked towards Jesse, but I think taking advantage of that and really leading this group, I mean, is it too early to say we have a top 15, top 10 defense?
Not at all. I think if everybody plays, which we'll get to that, I think if everybody plays to where they need to be and where they want to be, this defense is going to go back to that 21-22 form where I don't want to say the defense bailed us out of some situations, but they definitely helped.
Yeah.
This defense is lived and breathed turnovers for the last 3 years. Ever since Lou Anarumo has been there. Lou Anarumo preaches turnovers, and I think that's what Lou Anarumo is going to help Vaughn, and I think it's going to actually excel Geno Stone, who had, what was he, second in the NFL last year for interceptions?
Yeah, behind Durant.
I think it's actually going to boost him to be in a more turnover heavy defense.
Yeah, and Richard Sherman is actually kind of quoted, and this is pretty interesting to me of why Richard Sherman is completely off topic, but Richard Sherman believes that corners that kind of shut down that area of the field. I'm talking about the Pat Surtains, the Sauce Gardners, who may not rack up the interceptions, but it's because the ball isn't thrown over there. Richard Sherman says that good corners, good DBs are good because they can bait the quarterback into making them throw over there and forcing turnovers. And I think Geno Stone, sure, sometimes he was in the right place at the right time, but being that elite defensive back, you're not some mediocre DB isn't going to get. How many did he have? 6, 7,
9? I think 9.
Yeah, 9. Damn. But
let's look this up because I remember last year he picked off Joe Burrow and I was like, this dude's crazy at 8.
He had 8. Okay, yeah, some bum's not going to get that. And I think Richard Sherman is right to where if you're a good DB, you're going to be able to bait the quarterback, really play those zones, play the eyes into throwing where you want them to. Where I'm not discrediting Sauce Gardner or Pat Surtain at all. I mean, I'm a UC fan. Sauce Gardner is one of the greatest things to ever come out of UC. And I think Geno's going to play a vital role on this team along with Bell. I think the safety pair that they have where they complement each other perfectly. Geno's your ball hawk coverage guy, and Von Bell's going to go fucking hit somebody. I think it's just a perfect combination, and I think it's 10 times better than our safety group from last year.
Yeah, I think Geno Stone is what Nick Scott thought he could be.
Yeah. Which no slate to Nick Scott. Great guy, just not a
great guy. I mean, hey, he was one of my favorite players last year until about halfway to the season. But I think he lacked in this because it didn't fit his. How do I put this? Didn't fit his way of play. So he was a really good in some situations, but you rolled him out there, and he didn't excel. I mean, I remember that one play against it was the Texans. They tried to roll him in the box and do what Jesse Bates got in there to do sometimes, and what Von Bell will do a lot of, and he just didn't do well. Lou Anarumo runs a very versatile safety. He uses him as almost a linebacker sometimes, and sometimes he uses him as a corner, and then he plays him as a normal safety. So he plays a very versatile safety, and I just don't think Nick Scott was as versatile.
Yeah, and one thing I do like about this safety group is that it allows our guys to kind of sorry, it just started glitching. It allows our corners to really develop to where they can focus on their guys to really get out there, and our corners can, because a lot of the problem with our corners is that one, they're young, and two, they are they got burnt. Having these guys like Von Bell and Geno Stone out there will kind of allow them to play the coverage that they want and it'll allow them to really excel and learn their short game because people are going to be scared to throw over the top of us.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. I think Vaughn is one of the I think he was one of the elite strong safeties in the league, and I think he got overshadowed by Vaughn a little bit, but you know that happens. So now he or by Jesse. So I think that's gonna really boost us.
Yeah. And I think the impact is going to be felt for sure. Even though it seems like two lesser signings, I think that's such an underrated part of our offseason. Who's next on your end?
Next on my end, let's see. I got Trent Brown.
Okay. Yeah, so Trent Brown kind of adding that piece to our offensive line group to where I feel like we're six deep. You know, we can really go out there and run anyone at any position. And I like that about our versatility. I like that we can have him kind of develop. I mean, like I said in previous episodes, Amarius Mims can go two ways. He can you good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Amarius Mims can go two ways. He can go the Trent Brown route, big, what kind of seems to be wasted talent, even though he is elite, but you know, character and morale issues. And I think we're gonna see a difference in what we see with Trent Brown, putting him into a winning situation, coming from Oakland and then going to New England, coming into Cincinnati, to where I think he's going to be great. He allows Amarius Mims to develop. He allows him to really learn from him, learn from Orlando, and I think it just gives more versatility to this offensive line. I mean, I love our offensive line now. Cordell Volson's a little iffy, but if he can just be half the player that we want him to be, I think he'll be great. I mean, Matt Lee already beat out the for the second string center, eventually going to take over Karras right there, and I think it's just going to be a good time. You're muted, by the way.
So I think Trent Brown is good. I think he has those injury concerns and motivation concerns. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna stop him this year. I think it was because he had to block for Mac Jones. He was like, bro, I think last year was just like I'm playing for nothing out here. I'm 29, pretty much. He's 30. He was 30 last year. Um, it's like I'm 30 years old. I'm sitting here blocking for a 23, 24-year old kid who who's now a backup in Jacksonville, which he didn't know it at that time. Um, but what was really is gonna push him this year is that he has 9 to sit there and write him and say, "Hey, I need you. I need you out here with me." So I think that's just gonna motivate him.
And I think the threat looming of, hey, Trent, if you don't want to go out there, we have your replacement right here. I don't think they're directly going to say that, but he knows in the back of his head if he's not to his A game, he's going to start being a backup. And I think he's on his last team to where he can really be effective. And I think if he has a good year, we will extend him. I don't see a reason why we wouldn't extend him, even though we do have Mims. But I mean, if we extend him for a 2 year, what did we sign him for this year? 4 mil?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, 4 mil, 2 mil guaranteed, and this 4 mil was like playing a certain amount of games and things like that.
Yeah, so if we sign him to that same deal for 2 more years, I don't see a world to where he wouldn't take that and be that piece because obviously all of our guys are 6'8". As much as we love our 6'8" behemoths out there, they're gonna have injury concerns. They're gonna have knee, ankle concerns with Orlando, groin concerns with Amarius, ankle concerns, and I think having just those three tall, huge brick walls on each edge where we can just exchange them in and out. That I think he'd love to be a part of that.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I think he's really got the mill in the back of his head, and I think Trent Brown's not exactly gonna take offense to Marius being there, but he's definitely going to take it as, dang, like I got some competition. And I think the front office thought that as well when they brought Marius in. They thought, well, this is going to help us in the long run. It's also going to help us this year because it's going to keep Trent Brown wanting to play and wanting to keep on going. He struggled for a long time with the motivation concerns. The last time he really played a full season is when he played for who? Tom Brady. So when he has a good quarterback, he wants to play.
Yeah, and you know, Joe Burrow, second best quarterback in the league. I was hoping to get him on fantasy, never didn't get him. But I did get my homer. I got Evan McPherson. I wanted one Bengals player, so I got McPherson. I got Chase Brown on the bench in case he does have that pop off year. But
He has like that Colts esque game. Um, let's talk about a little bit about Mike Gesicki.
yeah, so Mike is he's listed as a tight end. He's what, 6'6"?
Yeah, he's big.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's listed as a tight end, but I don't. I think if you went up to him, and I love Mike Gesicki, one of my favorite players, but if you went up to Mike Gesicki and you said the word blocking, he might think you're speaking a foreign language. He's pretty much just a big wide receiver out there, and I think we're gonna play him like that. I don't think people are considering this because when you think of a traditional Bengals, you have a tight end, three wide receivers, and a halfback back there. I think Mike could be wide receiver three for a decent amount of snaps because we're gonna have a wide receiver threes committee. Mike being that wide receiver three, he's fast. He kind of struggled with hands last year, but he my bad. He's the best. Joe Burrow's the best quarterback he's ever played with, and I think keeping him in switching him between tight end and wide receiver is really going to help this passing game and open up. I mean, if we could play, let's say we have Jamar T. Gesicki, then we throw in Eric All out there for blocking, McLaughlin out there. McLaughlin, that's how you pronounce?
Yeah, McLaughlin from Arizona.
Yeah. Throw both of them out there for blocking. I mean, that's elite because as much as Mike isn't a great blocker, he's a better blocker than Jermaine Burton. He's a better blocker than Yoshavash is. And I think that's going to pay testament. And I think this is the best tight end Joe Burrow's ever had. This is the best quarterback that Mike has ever had. And I think they're going to find that connection. Mike works to the middle of the field really, really well. A place where the Bengals seem to struggle is that middle of the field, that 15 to 20 yard range, to where it's slightly over a first down. You don't see a lot of balls getting thrown there, and that's where Mike excels. And I think he's going to open up that field for us.
Yeah, so when we talk about training camp here in probably a little bit, we'll really get into what I have for him, but I just want him to find where he's useful this year. And I'll get more in on that later, but I really just want him to figure out what he's good at in this offense. He was really good at receiving. He was good end zone threat in Miami. We may use him as an end zone threat, but we are going to use him as an end zone threat, is what I should say. What I want to see from him this year is a bigger step on the down the field range. If that makes sense. I want to see him help us get down the field because we all know that Joe Burrow loves his tight ends in the end zone. But one thing he did with Hayden Hurst was on 3rd and 10, he would hit Hayden Hurst for 8 yards, and Hayden Hurst would take it that extra 2 and muscle it all the way through.
I loved Hayden Hurst. God,
oh my
I
God.
loved Hayden Hurst.
That guy had so much grit. I loved it. I loved that guy.
Caught the ball, 6 extra yards you're getting of him. I remember vividly the Bills game. Bills AFC divisional round against the Bills in the snow. This dude caught the ball. I think he might have pushed forward for an extra 12 yards. He just would not go down. 9 defenders on him, it seemed like. And it was such a shame when he went to Carolina. When he entered free agency this year, obviously he was not returning to Carolina. There, he kept commenting on Bengals posts, the little eyes emoji. I'm like, oh my God, I want this guy. And then he signed in LA, which sneakily enough, I don't know if you guys play fantasy because we kind of target an older audience, I feel like here, but Hayden Hurst might be a sleeper for a fantasy tight end. Gerald Everett's gone from from Tennessee. Who is their tight end? It's who's going to take the ball from him? Josh Palmer? Didn't think so. All right, go draft Hayden Hurst. Go take him. Anyway, yeah, I really like Hayden Hurst, and I really like Gesicki in this offense. I think he's going to do what Hayden Hurst does, route running a lot better. He won't get those extra yards, but he's going to get those extra yards running a cleaner route and getting that separation.
Yeah, let's talk about Zach Moss real quick, and then we'll get to training camp. Yep. So Zach Moss for me is huge in the pass blocking game, but I feel like by Bengals fans he gets, I would say, underrated a little bit. Sitting here thinking about how people talk about him, it's a little underwhelming how how people talk about him in the run game. People don't understand that he had like 600 yards last year on like 8 games, so he was doing pretty good. I don't know if it was 8 games. I might exaggerate a little bit, but he had good stats.
Yeah, he actually led the league in rushing yards for a couple weeks when he did play. And I think people forget about that. This dude was also a fantasy monster, and he's one of the best pass blockers, even though at a stocky 5'9". And I think that's just going to be so elite. Joe Mixon would often get beat on the pass block, which made him ineffective in passing plays. It seemed like you had to run him out, so it was difficult. But Zach Moss can do both, and same with Chase Brown. The dynamic he brings with him and Chase Brown as this running back by committee is just elite, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, I think he brings another element that Joe Mixon couldn't, which is unfortunate because I really love Joe Mixon. But I just think Zach Moss brings something that Joe Mixon can't in the pass blocking, and that's something that was kind of a telltale sign last year when Joe Mixon came out. We were pretty much it was almost a guarantee that we were throwing the ball. Like it was almost
Yeah,
a guarantee. And
which
either we are. You go ahead.
which which wasn't a bad thing because that put Chase Brown in, but yeah, you knew right away as soon as Joe Mixon's out, you just know.
And I think Zach Moss is going to give us more of that versatile element to this offense when he comes in. You're going to be like, is he going to pass block? Is he going to run the ball? He's super explosive, so it's not like it's going to be one of those guys who gets in there and pass blocks, and you don't have to worry about him running the ball because he can still run right past you.
Yeah. So let's kind of get into training camp here. Let's kind of shape out what we think it'll look like. We will be there for a lot of the training camps here, and let's. I kind of want to talk about positional battles a tiny bit. We already had a whole episode. I'm hoping by positional battles we. I just want to know. I want to lay out what I want to know. I want to know the D tackle rotation. I want to know what that looks like, and I want to know. We already know Trent Brown's going to start. That's almost a given. I want to know who's going to line up where in terms of the offense. I don't care who the wide receiver 3 is, but I want to know, is Jamar Chase going to line up in the slot more often? If so, we're probably going to see a lot of Jermaine Burton. If we see Jamar line up outside, we're going to see a lot of Yoshivas. And I just want to know, I want to see where Jamar is going to line up. We know T is going to be on the outside. He's ineffective anywhere else. Well, he's great, but you know what I mean. He's most effective on the outside.
He's too damn big to put in the slot.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like
But yeah,
he's
I want to know where we're gonna put Jamar, um, because where we put him in majority of the games will determine who our wide receiver 3 is. And I don't think people realize that. I don't think people realize that it's easy as just putting Jamar T. Jermaine or Jamar T. Yoshivas or Jamar T. Charlie Jones. I don't know, whoever you Jamar T. Trent Irwin. It really on paper, if I had to guess, it'll be Yoshivas as our wide receiver 3, just on paper, and Jermaine as the 4, Irwin as the 5, Charlie Jones as the 6.
I'd say that's about right.
Um, and I obviously I think it won't show as the cap or as the snap count, but if Jamar's in the slot, I want to see Yoshivas out there, or if Jamar's in the slot, I want to see Burton out there. And I really hope we play him in the slot because Jamar in the slot is the best wide receiver in the league. I said it. But no,
No, because Justin's too big to put in the slot, and Tyreek usually, I mean, he lines up in the slot. He's a pretty good slot receiver, but you really don't want to put your fast guy on the linebackers because he's just going to win every time. That's no fun.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the main things I want to learn in terms of positional value or positional battles. I want to know where Jamar's going to be because that'll determine wide receiver 3, and I want to know the D tackle rotation. I think we can assume. Well, we're going to know who the corners are. They're just going to rotate out. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, those guys, I are priority for me.
Yeah, I think that's a priority for me as well. I think Yoshi Voss is super 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 important to this Bengals team this year. No matter if he's in the slot, if he's on the bench, if he's coming in for the jumbo set wide receiver, like the 5 wide, he's going to play a big role. Same for Jermaine Burton. I just think, especially from hearing TJ Hushmanzada talk.
Ushmazada.
So, yeah, Hushmanzada.
Who's your
Sorry, I
mama?
messed up. Yeah, TJ,
That's
who's your mama? That's what I was gonna say, but I didn't want to, whatever. Um, so I think from hearing him talk, it sounds like Jermaine Burton isn't too comfortable in the slot right now. It's just something that he's never done because he's been so good at going to get jump balls. And he's just gonna kind of have to learn to navigate because there's more to going in the slot than running those option routes where you have four different routes that you can run, and you better pick the right one. Um, there's more to it. You got to navigate the defense because you think about it. If you're in the slot, you're running through linebackers, not only linebackers, but you're running through linebackers, sometimes safeties, sometimes defensive linemen who drop back. You see it sometimes with the Bengals. You see Trey Hendrickson come off the ball to drop back. So you have to think that you're having to navigate through those guys, and find an opening while keeping your head up to run your route.
Yeah, and this is one of the very rare times I wish Jamar Chase was maybe 30. Obviously, I love that how young he is, but I don't know if I've talked about it on here, but Jermaine Burton is literally is a younger version of Jamar Chase. They play the exact same type of body. They're physical. These guys can run routes. They can go deep. I mean, if Jermaine Burton has a ceiling, it is Jamar Chase. And I wish he was a little older so that way Jermaine could kind of look up to him, but it kind of sucks because they're the same age right now. So that I don't think Jermaine's gonna really learn a ton off Jamar. He's not gonna go up to him and be like, "Hey, teach me what you do." And it's just awkward. It's an ego thing, to go up to someone kind of that age. Where Orlando's pushing 30, Amarius is super young, to where that's not as weird. And Orlando's kind of like he kind of reminds me of an uncle, in the
Unk,
Bengals. Yeah, Unc.
unk.
But yeah, I like Jermaine, and if he could develop into a mini Jamar Chase, that'd be great. That's where I see him thriving, and I could see Yoshivas thriving as a mini Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, I think Yoshi Voss is going to be good. The only problem with Yoshi Voss is like we said with um, T. Yoshi Voss is also 6'4".
Yeah,
He's big. He's a big dude. He's tall. So when I think about Yoshi Voss, I think about him being on the outside. He's so smart that he can play the slot because he is really smart football player. So that it's not going to take him a ton of time to learn how to play the slot. My only problem for him is he's so damn big. It's going to be hard for him to find, like Tyler Boyd was like that perfect size.
yeah,
Uh, Not maybe not as athletic as you want, but he just knew how to play that slot. It was just like a chef's kiss.
yeah. He knew how to get in there, perfect size. Um, so what else do you want to get out of training camp?
No, I'm just kidding. So for training camp for me, I want to talk about what these free agents need to do. So we kind of talked about how their season's going to play out, right? But I want to talk about how these free agents need to have a good preseason to, let's put it this way, I need to have a good preseason, like training camp, to get into the season, right? Because it all starts where you put your feet down.
Yeah, I think it's crucial we start off to a hot start this year. We're notorious for starting off 2-3, 1-4, in seasons, and I've seen Ghetto Gronk. Shout out Ghetto Gronk, one of the greatest Instagram pages I've ever found. Um, every year, I feel like for the past 3 years, it starts off with the same meme. Week 5, Joe Burrow, for the first 4 games every season, and Sam Darnold, and then after game 4, he turns into Tom Brady. And I think it's a team thing. It's not necessarily Joe Word, but also we play Cleveland in the first few weeks, which isn't a good start. Which we don't this year. We don't play Cleveland until late in the season.
Yeah, we don't. I don't think we play any of our division games until after the bye.
No, we play the Ravens. We play the Ravens week 5, I think.
Yeah. You're right. Maybe the Steelers don't play until late in the season.
The Steelers, or no, it is no, it's the Browns. The Browns don't play any of their divisional games until like week 12, and then they play almost all of them in a row, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's insane. They're gonna get so beat up doing that.
I know.
And our AFC North football is just nasty, man. And doing that every single week is just ugh.
But yeah, it's crucial we get to a hot start. I want every single starter playing at least one game in the preseason except Joe Burrow. I don't want Joe Burrow risking injury. I know he should, but you know what? Throw him in there for a couple tosses. But realistically, what's that gonna do? I mean, he's smart enough. He knows game speed. He knows what he needs to do, and he's gonna get his body ready for that. It's not like he's a rookie. Coming off that injury, we've heard reports that he's perfectly fine now. He's doing great. Added 15 pounds of muscle. He's going to learn to deal with that to where once he's in a real life game, and I'm not saying the Patriots are easy. The Patriots have a great defense, but it's a good learning game to where if you miss a couple reads and you know you're worried, I think their offense. I think we're going to have a couple chances to get our offense before they start getting something going. So I think that, and I just it decreases the risk of injury, and I think it's a good first opener for us. I think it's a great opener for us. And yeah, I want most of our guys in the preseason.
Yeah, I do too. I was watching a certain podcast, and they were talking about that they don't want him out there, and that kind of shocked me. Um, which, if you know how other teams run it, they always have him out there for at least one. And people are like, "Oh, only one drive." That one drive can be very crucial to Joe Burrow seeing what defenses are going to show him. I mean, he's running out there only going against uh, his own
Emerson
defense.
Mailman.
Yeah, and
It's
so
funny.
nobody's hitting him either.
Yeah.
Nobody's hitting him. So that first hit that he takes is the first hit he takes all year. And so I think it shocks his body week one, week two is when he's getting hit for the first time. He's like, "Ow, this hurts." He hasn't prepared for it. I mean, he
Yeah.
prepares for it obviously, but he doesn't prepare for it in the way that because you can never prepare for a 300-pound dude to come at you 15 miles an hour.
Yeah, no,
Pause.
nothing can prepare. Nothing can prepare you for that. I was just thinking about this. Do you think quarterbacks have like? Do you think there's like a way for them to practice getting tackled? Do you think they just like repeatedly run into things, or like, do you think like Joe Burrow has a trainer just purposely tackle him in full gear, just over and over again, just getting used to it?
I don't know. I feel like they have like medicine balls thrown at them or something.
Yeah,
Like they gotta have like maybe even like yoga balls. As weird
those
as
things
that
hurt.
sound,
Those things hurt
yeah.
getting thrown at you.
I feel like they have to have something to like show contact because
Now I
there's no
know
way.
I've seen drills. You know those big those tall sandbags that they
Yeah, yeah,
practice. I've seen coaches throw those at quarterbacks like, while they're in the pocket, so they can
yeah.
avoid like going back and forth, staying in the pocket. So maybe they just chuck those at him. I don't know. I'm curious to see how they prepare for hits, if anything.
Yeah, so let's start talking about individuals. So let's talk about Trent Brown. What do you want to see out of him this training camp for him to have a successful season as a Cincinnati Bengal?
Well, first I want to see better arm swings. All right. I don't know if you've seen that video on Twitter to where hold on, he's going like that's what he's doing in that video of OTAs. I want to see some better warm ups from my starting right tackle here, who's 6'8", 1,000,000 pounds. I love you, Trent. You're a big dude. And second of all, I want him to solidify himself as right tackle one. I know coaches are playing him just because he is Trent Brown, but they're saying that his talent is equal, if not less than Amarius Mims right now. I want him to come in there, pretend it's a clean slate, and just win the positional battle straight out of talent, like purely out of talent, not because of his age, not because of why we signed him, but I want the coaches to come in there and be like, "That is the better player. That's who I want to start."
Yeah, so about Trent Brown, I love you, but I'm praying for your horses day in and day out. I'm not sure horses are supposed to carry 6'8", 375-pound men. But anyway, what I want to see out of you is I want you to figure out. I need you to find something. I just need you to do something to figure out how you can stay in shape and how you can stay healthy. A lot of the things that go into Trent Brown's contract, if you actually look into it, is weight. He has weight that he has to report. I don't think Amarius Mims is going to have that problem.
The dude's jacked, as we
Yeah,
discovered.
yeah. Trent Brown has little weight clauses because apparently he likes to eat and
Yeah. I
no,
shout out
me
Tony
too.
Romo. I don't know if you guys have seen this story, but Tony Romo, when getting married to his wife, he had her sign in like the marriage agreement that for every that what was it? If they got it was something like if they got divorced, it was something along the lines of every 10 pounds she gains, that's $10,000 she's losing from Tony. Or no, it's every pound. It was every pound over a certain amount. That's $10,000 she's losing. If they got divorced, or I don't remember what, but it was like a lot of money for a little bit of pounds, and I'm like, that is crazy.
That is crazy. That's why I hate Tony Romo. Screw you, Tony Romo. I love you when you praise Joe Burrow, but you have a weird fetish for motions.
Yeah, same with Zach Taylor.
Yeah,
Um,
I love when Tony Romo's calling a game. And he's just like, "Oh my God, look at that motion, Jim! Look at that
Jim,
motion."
Jim, this looks like a sweep right here. Look at that, just going across the offensive line. Yeah, it's
Do
just
you remember? Do you remember in the AFC Championship game? And he was like, "You got 10 guys." He
no.
was like he like kept on choking over his words like he was an idiot. He just kept on choking over him.
I'm
I'm
excited to
like,
see
bro,
what Tom Brady brings. I feel like he's going to be a
yes,
great analysis. I'm curious. One thing I was discussing on my other podcast for the lob in the description, is that this is just something stupid. How will he discuss Patrick Mahomes when he's calling Chiefs games? Will he be like, "Oh man, this guy's a stud"? Because I feel like, I mean, let's think of if Jordan hopped on the mic commenting Lakers games, is he gonna be like, "Oh man, this LeBron guy changes the game"? No, I mean they're neck and neck with each other. Patrick's on that on that path to goat status. Is Tom gonna be like, what a phenomenal guy? He's gonna be like, this guy fucking sucks. If I went out there, I'd win another Super Bowl against him. I'm just curious on how he's gonna call it.
yeah, I'm curious about it too. I think Tom's gonna be a little disgruntled to it, but yeah, what I was saying earlier is that the Tony Romo, I think he has a weird fetish for Patrick Mahomes. So I think he was choking over his words so hard because he wanted to
Glaze.
like glaze Patrick Mahomes, but he had to like call the play,
Yeah.
what was going on. So he was like, "There's 10. Oh my God, Patrick Mahomes did that perfectly."
I just
But
remember. I remember vividly when it was Chiefs versus Jags 2 years ago. This is when we went to the Super Bowl. Does that sound right?
wait,
No, this is when we went to the AFC Championship because the Jags beat the Chargers, then we played the Bills, and then we played the
yep.
Um, and Patrick Mahomes threw it into the dirt. Threw it. He's like, "Wow, what a perfect pass!" Like he knew he was about to get sacked, so he just and you could see the ball get knocked out of his hand at mid throw. I'm like, bro, are you even watching the
Oh,
same game?
that was our boy Chris Collinsworth. Love
Oh,
you,
you're right.
Chrissy.
That's my bad. No, I get him confused.
Chris Collinsworth. I mean, how could you, as a Bengals fan, we're a little biased, respectively, because he's beat us and we're a little butthurt about it. Um, but he's good. Like no shame in Patrick Mahomes. That guy's won 3 Super Bowls. I mean, he's on track to be the goat. So, it's right now it's only Joe Burrow who can take him down. But yeah, these NFL media guys are just all over him. Oh my God, look at Patrick Mahomes, Jim.
It's because it's what gets the clicks, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But yeah, let's continue off to training camp. There's only a couple more things I really want to talk about with training camp.
Do
Is
you want to go
one
into your next player?
Yeah, I can go to my next player. I want to see either one of the two corners. It's a lot of these guys just kind of solidifying their spots. That's really what I want to see throughout all this. But I want to see I would like to see, this is going to sound really specific, okay? I want to see why am I always forget this guy's name. DJ
Turner
Turner.
the second.
DJ Turner. Why I keep thinking DJ Ivy, and then I went to DJ Reader. I'm like, that's not him. I want to see DJ Turner stick to his man, which is so stupid. But last year, you'll notice in a lot of his coverages is that he'll kind of lag behind the defender like this, and then as soon as the ball gets thrown, he'll speed up because he knows he can. I want to see him stick to that motherfucker like glue. I want him to really just be a nuisance. He's a small guy. I want him to have his presence known and not get burnt so often because sometimes he couldn't catch up to where he got overconfident. But I want to see his man coverage skills increase and not just rely on his speed.
Yeah, I wonder if when he was younger, he used to do like drills about like receivers running routes and trying to stay with your man with his hands behind his back. Because that dude never would put his hands on
Yeah,
somebody. Like, bro, push on your man, put your hands on him. So, I mean, I have mixed feelings about DJ Turner. I think he can be good, but I think he makes me rather mad. So for me, my next guy is Sheldon Rankins. I'm sticking on the free agent train here. And for me, I had find what you guys aren't doing well. Because now you can start to tackle the running back, aka Zach Moss. Find what you guys aren't doing well, whether it's pass rushing or stopping the run, and then fill it.
yeah,
He's so versatile. He can do both. So his job for me is see what's not going on with the defensive line. If we can't stop the run, well, guess what? You're the next run stopper of the century. Well, we're stopping the run real well. Why don't I step my pass rush game up a little bit? That's what I want to see out of him. I want to see where he where he's going to excel with us.
for sure. And I think he's an important piece if he can really find out what holes he can fill. That's all I had for players. I just want to see those couple things. I want to get to know who our positional guys are. We're going to see a lot more. I want to see Joe really throw some air the ball out a little bit. That's just a minor one. I just want to make sure that wrist is fully okay. And then finally, I want to know who our fucking punter is going to be. All right. I'd stop keeping me on edge. Is it going to be Brad Robbins or is it going to be the new guy? All right. Austin, too many cameras.
McNamara.
Um,
Yeah, Austin, freaking too many cameras. I like it.
um,
Yeah, I love you, Brad Robbins. I love your mustache, and I love that bald head of yours. You gotta go, bro.
yeah.
Gotta go.
And maybe they could be punting by committee. I don't. The whole team could be by committee. Jake Browning
Let's
can
do
get some
it.
snaps mid game. I don't care. Let's. But no, I just want to know. I just want our roster finalized because we have. I don't obviously do in depth things like this on a lot of teams, but I want to know who is going to be our guys. I don't know if there's a lot of other teams that really have this many positional battles to the degree that we do.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think this 53-man roster is going to be a very good, depthy 53-man roster. When they say next guy up, the next guy up could easily start somewhere else.
yeah, yeah, and I'm excited for it. I love our team. I really do. I think hoping this year's the year. I'm trying to go to as many games as
How about
possible.
them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? You know what I've seen a lot. I was talking to a
What?
Giants fan earlier, and then we can go ahead and get out of here. A Giants fan thinks they could sign Dak. He gets disgruntled with Dallas and then goes to New York.
We're going to talk after this and who this Giants fan is because I'm sure I know who it is. Um, no way. Actually,
I was
ooh, I
telling him.
could
I was
see
telling
it.
him. I think it's more realistic that they get either one of the two, Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, whichever one's the odd man out, or they could kind of maybe cook up a trade for Justin Herbert. Hmm. Maybe.
I think it depends on how what's his name, freaking Justin Herbert cooks in this Harbaugh offense. I can't think of his name. I don't know if it's Jim or John. I don't want to mess it up.
Jim.
So
Jim.
okay, so I think I think that Dak is going to be a good option for them. This upcoming rookie quarterback class is not good.
Yeah, the
But
only
when you
guy I
got
like is Sanders. Carson Beck has a low ceiling to me. Shadur Sanders has a really high upside, but really low ceiling. And then Jackson Dart, I don't think is super NFL ready, even though he's going into his last year of eligibility. And other than that, I mean, who else do you have?
got to keep waiting, man. I think for me, you got to afford. I think they said this on HBO Max, which on the Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
You got a $40 million a year question mark. If I had a $40 million a year question mark, I would trade him and just send him away. Whatever I can get. Get rid of his contract. Get rid of it and get somebody out of it. Hell, tank this year. Trade away Daniel Jones. Tank You might actually do better without him. Tank, even if
Yeah, they have Drew
go
Lock.
go get a guy who in the draft who's gonna service you, who's gonna do you good, and then go sign a veteran quarterback next year in free agency.
Yeah, the Jacoby Brissett's of the world. I mean, maybe even Russell Wilson. Still draft your guy, get Russ. But yeah, that was it. No more Giants talk. Just wanted to kind of get that out there. That's it for me. You got anyone else for training camp?
No, I'm excited. It starts the next Wednesday, so I'm
Yeah,
excited. I'm getting antsy. I can't sit in my seat for any longer.
rookies report this Saturday. Veterans report on Monday. I want to
Yep,
say.
got to
Yep.
start their meetings and I wonder how many of them know that they're going to be packing their stuff up in a month, and who knows that they're going to have to get a nice little lease this year.
Lance Robinson, he's making it. I'm calling it right now.
Let's go, Lance. Let's go, number 39.
Yes, sir. And Tyson's, I think, a lock to make it. I don't think he has.
Yeah,
any worries.
Tyson. I looked last year, and Tyson was actually on a Pro Bowl / All Pro level for special teams last year.
Yeah, it's kind of him before he got injured.
Yeah.
So, yep. Go to 727 July 27th at 7:30. Always in Play, Fort Thomas, Kentucky. That's our live show interviewing Tyson Anderson and Lance Robinson. Deals on drinks, golf simulator, anything you want to do. You can go there. Bring your wallet though, because it's not all free. But it's not super expensive either. It's actually really cheap. It's a lot cheaper than I thought.
Yeah. It's gonna be a little bit. It's gonna be cheap. So if you're over 21 and want to have a decent time with your buddies, bring some of your friends. Tell a friend of a friend. Say, hey, let's go to this thing. Everybody needs to have a little night out. Why not listen to your favorite team's podcast? Get you excited for next season.
Take some pictures
and take some pictures. Say, hell, post on Instagram. Say, I met this guy.
Yeah.
Who
Cool
cares?
guy.
Girls dig that. Girls dig when you
You got status.
When you got status like that, you can tell them that you and Tyson Anderson are boys. They don't know.
Yeah. And then finally, all ages are welcome. Obviously, 21 up to buy alcohol, but anyone's welcome. Bring your wife, bring your kids, bring your granddaughter. If I don't know, anyone you want. It'll be a good time. And so yeah, that's it for me. Like I said, if you're on YouTube, go to the Spotify, rate us 5 stars, and follow us. If you're on Spotify, go to YouTube, subscribe, like, share. Everything helps us out so much more than you know. That's it for me.
That's it. Let's do it. Who day?
All right, see you, everybody. Who day?